Biology is nothing can live there. Not barely survive, not simple organisms. Nothing. The pressure is 1,000 times greater than at the surface, enough to crush any cell instantly. Absolute darkness, temperature near zero, no food, no light, no oxygen pathways that make sense. Biology is wrong. At 11 kilometers below the Pacific Ocean, in the Mariana Trench, creatures exist that violate every law by which life is supposed to work. Not one creature, not two, hundreds of species, each one more impossible than the last. We have explored 5% of the trench. Something lives in the other 95.
Here is what life requires. Every biology textbook agrees. Energy source, water, stable temperature, absence of crushing pressure. These are not suggestions. These are the conditions under which the chemistry of life can physically operate. The Mariana Trench violates all of them simultaneously. No sunlight means no photosynthesis. No photosynthesis means no base of the food chain as we understand it. The pressure we covered. The temperature sits 1 degree from the threshold where most organic chemistry fails. What replaced sunlight changed everything. Hydrothermal vents, cracks in the ocean floor releasing water at over 400 degrees Celsius, rich in hydrogen sulfide. On the surface, hydrogen sulfide is toxic to virtually every organism. Down here, it is food. Organisms called chemosynthetic bacteria consume it directly, converting chemical energy into biological energy without a single photon of light. This was discovered in 1977. It rewrote the definition of life on Earth. Before 1977, every known ecosystem on Earth ultimately depended on sunlight. Every food chain traced back to a plant. After 1977, we knew that life could build an entire world. Predators, prey, complex ecosystems, in total darkness, powered by chemistry alone. That principle is why we now search for life on Europa.
Number 5. The Hadal snailfish, Pseudoliparus swirei. In 2017, a research team lowered a camera to 8,178 meters in the Mariana Trench. They baited it with mackerel. They waited. The snailfish arrived within hours. Not one, dozens, swarming the bait in complete darkness at pressures that should make protein synthesis physically impossible. Here is why that matters. Protein molecules fold into specific shapes to function. Every cellular process depends on correctly folded proteins. At extreme pressure, those shapes collapse. At the pressures of Challenger Deep, no protein should maintain its structure long enough to do anything. The snailfish solved this with one molecule, trimethylamine oxide, TMAO. It floods its cells with this compound, which stabilizes protein structure under pressure at the molecular level. The deeper the fish lives, the higher its TMAO concentration. The fish at maximum depth runs a fundamentally different internal chemistry than any surface fish. In 2023, researchers found snailfish at 8,336 meters, the deepest fish ever recorded. It was actively hunting, comfortable, thriving. The pressure that would kill you in seconds is its natural resting state. It did not adapt to survive the trench. It adapted to need it.
Number 4. The giant isopod, Bathynomus giganteus. You have seen something like it. Under rocks, on beaches, the small gray pill bugs that curl into a ball when touched. The giant isopod is that organism scaled by a factor of 30. 50 centimeters, 3 kilograms, 14 legs, an armored exoskeleton of overlapping plates. That last detail is the solution. Instead of resisting pressure, which is impossible at these depths, the giant isopod distributes it. Every plate shifts slightly against its neighbors under load, converting crushing force into lateral movement across the shell surface. It is the same structural principle as an arch. Redirect the force, never absorb it. Evolution discovered architectural engineering before humans did. it can survive without food for over 5 years. In 2021, a specimen in a Japanese aquarium refused food for 2,107 consecutive days, nearly 6 years, then ate normally. Its metabolism does not slow during starvation. It approaches something close to a biological pause. It is waiting, in the darkness, for something to fall from the world above. It has been doing this for 160 million years. The design has not changed because the design is perfect.
Number 3. Xenophyophores. They are single cells, one cell each, and they are the largest single-celled organisms ever discovered on Earth, some reaching 20 centimeters across. One cell, the size of a dinner plate. Every biology class teaches that cells above a certain size cannot function. Nutrients cannot diffuse fast enough through the membrane to reach the center. The cell starves itself from inside. This is not a biological limitation. It is basic physics. Xenophyophores do not follow this rule. They are multinucleate, a single cell containing thousands of nuclei distributed throughout the cytoplasm. They solved the diffusion problem by placing thousands of control centers inside one body, instead of dividing into separate cells. Evolution found a third option that the textbook did not list. They build external shells from sediment particles and biological debris, constructing architecture from the ocean floor. Their shells create microhabitats. At least 30 other species have been found living exclusively inside xenophyophore structures. A single cell that builds a house that other species move into. They were first described in 1889. We still cannot fully explain their reproductive cycle. A cell discovered 135 years ago, still not understood.
Number 2. The Pacific Viperfish, Chauleotis maconi. Most deep-sea creatures are passive. They drift, they wait, they absorb what falls from above. The viperfish hunts. 30 centimeters long. Its fangs are proportionally the largest of any fish on Earth relative to head size. So large they cannot fit inside its closed mouth. They curve backward along the outside of its face when its jaw is shut. When it opens its mouth, the fangs deploy forward like biological switchblades locked open. It accelerates to strike velocity in milliseconds, generating G-forces absorbed by a fluid-filled organ behind its skull that functions as a biological shock absorber. Without it, the strike would concuss the viperfish itself. It produces bioluminescent light along its entire body. A glowing lure on its dorsal spine attracts prey. Rows of lights along its belly match the faint light from above, making it invisible to anything looking up from below. It is simultaneously a lure, a ghost, and a precision weapon. In an environment where complex predation should be impossible, no light, crushing pressure, near zero temperature, the viperfish built a complete hunting system from scratch. Evolution does not accept impossible as an answer.
Number 1 has no common name. In 2020, researchers extracted sediment from Challenger Deep and cultured it under simulated trench conditions. Inside, they found microbial communities metabolizing at rates that current physics cannot explain. To metabolize, to convert food into energy, requires a minimum energy gradient. Below a certain threshold, the chemistry cannot proceed. This is not a biological rule. It is the second law of thermodynamics. It applies everywhere in the known universe without exception. These microbes operate below that threshold. They extract energy from reactions that produce less energy than the reactions cost to run. By every law of physics, their metabolism creates a net energy deficit. They are alive anyway. This finding went directly to the astrobiology community, scientists searching for life beyond Earth, because the implications are exact and enormous. If life can operate below the thermodynamic minimum here, then the conditions required for life anywhere in the universe just became radically broader. Europa has a subsurface ocean. Enceladus has hydrothermal vents. Mars had liquid water. If impossible is not a barrier at Challenger Deep,
It may not be a barrier anywhere. The deepest place on Earth just changed the size of the universe.
We have explored 5% of the Mariana Trench. In that 5%, we found a fish that rebuilt its biochemistry to need crushing pressure, an armored organism that solved structural engineering 160 million years before humans did, a single cell the size of a plate that builds houses for 30 other species, a predator that became simultaneously a lure and a ghost, and microbes that break the second law of thermodynamics and survive anyway. Every one of these was impossible before we found it. Every one permanently changed the definition of life. The remaining 95% has never had a camera, never had a sample taken, never had any human presence of any kind. In 2023, researchers estimated that the total biomass of undiscovered species in the deep ocean exceeds the total biomass of all species currently known to science. More life unknown than known, directly below us right now. The Mariana Trench is not the bottom of the ocean. It is a door. We have explored the handle. We have not opened it. And whatever is on the other side has been waiting in the dark for longer than our species has existed to ask the question.